Perspective, episode 33. Sorry for the delay. I got the blue screen of death right before we were supposed to go live. And then when I came back, I realized that all of my audio settings have been reset. So I had to hurry up. And you guys let me know. Let me know if anything sounds off. But I think I got it back. I think everything's back to how it needs to be. So joining us tonight, we've got Landon, Curt, Noll. Welcome, Landon.
Thank you, and hello from your friendly secular astronomer, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your time zone and latitude, especially the folks in the South Pole base.
Yeah.
So you have friends in Antarctica right now watching?
Yes, I'm streaming. I'm taking the YouTube thing and sending it through the satellite link down there so they can watch it. So
that's so cool.
Hi, they're about to have their sunrise. They've had 6 months of darkness, and they're harvesting their crop of herbs allegedly, and they're very altered in their perspective.
That's what we like here. Have you been down there as well?
Yes, I'm a frequent visitor looking for meteorites. It's a gorgeous place. Antarctica is just amazing. I highly recommend it.
I saw something.
I would never go.
I saw a documentary about how they have to reinforce the buildings down there to be able to withstand the elements so that they don't get buried in snow and stuff. It was really fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, the building base has to have on these jacks because they're those who keep sinking into the snow and keep it moving forward. But yeah, it's a pretty harsh environment down there. That building actually it's more expensive per square meter than the space station.
Tell them about the pee and poo. That's what I want you to tell them about.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the things that Pimpmunk wanted. I mean, many people I request things, but Pimpmunk wanted his name pissed in the ice.
I did.
He did, right? And I practiced it in Africa, but when I went there to do it, I discovered a problem, that your pee freezes on the way down and it kind of shatters on the ice and doesn't give the effect. So I could get close and drill it in, right? You get for the warmth of it, you could drill it into the spot. But that meant you'd have to have a lot more. I mean, I have a bladder, but I don't have that much of a bladder. Unfortunately, we had about 16 really amazing, cool Russians who were celebrating one of their mates' 40th birthdays. And I explained to them the thing. And so with a number of liters of vodka, and I mean a number of liters of vodka, they assisted and peed Pimpmunk into the ice. Now, we cleaned it up afterwards, right? So there's no mess done. But
Russians pissed my name in the ice.
That is so crazy that urine will go from body temperature to ice that quickly. And what's the average temperature there in Fahrenheit?
Well, I mean, we were it was about minus 52 Celsius, so that's pretty damn cold.
Yeah.
The big thing is not freezing your nether regions, right? You don't want to get frostbite where it counts.
Oh, no. I would never, ever go there, ever.
But Pimpmonk's name has been peed there, so.
Yes, it has.
So we usually try to fit the videos that we watch on the show to our guests. So we have a lot of flat earther videos lined up. So my next question is, why are you lying to everyone that you went to a place that clearly doesn't exist?
In fact, a message just came back and said, remind the flat earthers to suck their South Pole.
Here's a video from a flat earth convention.
Wow.
We'll start with some basic questions. The sky is...
In a world where it feels like nothing is as it seems.
Blue.
It's blue, of course. Oh, the sky's blue.
The sky's blue.
1 + 1 is...
2. 2. 2.
2. There's at least...
They got it right so far.
One truth we thought was indisputable.
And the Earth is...
Flat.
Flat.
The Earth is flat.
My reality, my senses tell me that the Earth is flat and stationary.
Look how many people are there, too. Man, that makes me lose faith in humanity. Look at their little flat Earth memorabilia that they're selling too.
Or so I thought.
The Sky Dome too.
But for the people attending the first Flat Earth International Conference here in Cary, North Carolina, their Earth is indisputably not round.
Everybody here can agree on absolutely one thing, which is it is not a globe.
For centuries, a flat Earth was accepted as certainty until science and sailboats said otherwise.
One of the rules of power is you never admit that there's someone bigger than yourself.
But in 2015, this guy, Mark Sargent, posted his flat Earth clue.
I wonder if any of these people, pilot airplanes or anything like that.
God, I hope not.
I know.
At least I hope not for very long. But
yeah.
We have
part
a
of a series of
wild
clues
in
that
the
can
chat
help
room.
you get your head around both the design of the flat Earth system we live in.
You're kind of the father of this movement. How would you?
Don't do that.
You're the one who sort of started it all.
I did not invent flat Earth. All I did was walk up to a door, point at it, say, you know what? I think there's some really interesting things on the other side of this, and check it out for yourself. If flat Earth is a university, FEA, then I would be the freshman recruiter.
People have traveled from around, actually, Mark would say, across the flat world to attend.
The first rule of Flat Club is you don't talk about Flat Club.
Until now.
I
Did
have
he
a
just say that?
How
I think he just said that.
are they doing it just to be cool? I mean, so that they can pretend. Are they trolling? I don't know.
I mean, I think some people are trolling. Some people are into conspiracies, and so if they hear it's a conspiracy, they latch onto it.
And some are just
people-
fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
poem about that. It's right here.
Amy Nicholson wrote a book of poetry about her
She
flat
looks
Earth
like
journey.
she's cooked a baby before.
Oh, poetry, that settles it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's poetry.
A few months flat and 7 months to rally.
Kim
Doesn't she
Gurley
look like
came
she
to the
would boil a
conference
baby? That woman's crazy.
Cray.
from Houston.
I haven't really come out all the way yet. I'm still a little in the closet.
The North Pole's in the middle.
Laney Inavali came
Pole's
from
in the
even
middle.
farther.
I mixed with quite a lot of flat earthers in
He
New
looks
Zealand.
like
Hold
thing
on.
from Star. What the hell is that?
This guy's from New Zealand, so he flew on a plane from New Zealand all the way to.
And an idiot. How come you can see things like the Magellanic Cloud as clouds, large and small, and the Southern Cross and things like that, and I can't, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna say they're gonna do some stupid thing about perspective and ceiling stuff, but yeah.
That is so weird. Yeah, yeah, because they have different stars at night, correct?
Yeah.
And he
They
looks
see
like
a-
a Star Trek creature.
Yeah, they see a half of the universe that essentially is not visible to us.
Yeah.
You know
It's
flat
actually
earthers, I
cool.
guarantee it. But you don't know who they are because they're afraid of talking about it.
1, 2, 3.
Like many
Are.
Crazy.
crazy.
Usually, crazy people don't know or think that they're crazy. So
Yeah.
there you go.
modern movements, this one has grown in large part out of the internet, with rappers like Odd TV evangelizing to hundreds of
Well, rap
thousands of
obviously settles it too. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
poetry and
shaped.
thank you, Jesus Christ. Wow, that was awesome. And because of that, I'm opening up 9/11 mode. 9/11 mode is now open, and but I'm not going to do over 6 of these in a row. I'll just do one good swig for everybody. Cheers. Cheers to you, Jesus Christ. I love Jesus Christ. Cheers, Landon.
Cheers.
I'll drink some kratom.
So, Lions Ranch Viognier, for those that are Kirk sniffers. Anyway, but yes, okay, so we've had poets and we've had rappers that have cited on the side of flat
Yeah,
Earth.
and somebody needs to tell this dude that the 90s are over.
He's Fred
and the red
Durst.
hat.
He's Fred Durst's little brother.
Yeah.
We actually had on the Drunken Peasants, we had a flat Earth rapper cut a diss track on us. Yeah.
subscribers.
Almost convinced me. I almost became a flat Earth.
living on a cartoon box.
Come on, man. Like, okay, if the Earth was round, as you say, then wouldn't football fields have a little curve to them, and the 50-yard line would be at the top of a hill? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was about the size of My Little Prince's world, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And YouTube channels like
Globebusters,
encouraging skepticism about what you've been taught. For the serious students here at the conference,
This has got to a point now where it's becoming real.
it all comes down to proof.
When it comes to science, there's things you can test right now, right? Fire burns, water's wet, drop something, falls to the ground. That appears to be gravity. Those are things you can test, right?
What about the fact that
they accept gravity?
We have satellites in space that can look back at the Earth and show us an image of the Earth. And there's
It's
been
not true.
No, it's not.
No, it's not true.
And I like to say that I'm the flat Earth's worst nightmare, because having been a person who was actually, I've measured the distance of the sun with a colleague. I've measured the curvature of the Earth. I've measured the distance to the stars. I've been to the North Pole. I've been to the South Pole. I've worked on satellites that have imaged the Earth. And we see a lot of this evidence for round stuff. I think there are combinations of trolls, idiots, and people that are just, as Pimpmunk says, dumb as a post.
Yeah, I think you're feeding the lie. Is what I think you're doing. None of that. You did none of that shit.
It sounds like you just described Trump supporters in many ways.
I don't know. It was interesting to see whether or not the political spectrum of flat earthers is in a narrow range, or are they kind of broad? But I would think that stupidity is apolitical.
You would think. I mean, yeah, you'd like to think that.
Take my money.
Oh, that I'll do it anyway. But from now on, it has to be 9/11. Yeah, I was never really good in science class, but sometimes I'll get curious about certain things and I'll look it up and I'll be like, one thing that really blew my mind is when I looked up the speed that the Earth goes around the sun. Like, that blows my mind that we're stuck to like a ball of rock flying around a giant fireball going that speed. That blows my mind.
And then that sun is going around our galaxy at a pretty good speed, and the galaxy is moving. Yeah, everything's in motion. Right? That's one of the wonderful things about our.
No, we're flat. We're not doing none of that.
But it really does amaze me, because when you hear people on dumpster fire shows trying to justify their flat Earth stupidity, you hear a lot of misunderstanding about how measurements work, how science works, and they do stupid things like that. Say, oh well, measuring the distance between, measure the temperature between the shade and the
Look at all
moon
those
somehow.
idiots. Smiley face.
So I think I really think that this flat Earth movement, to some extent, is sort of a sign that some people are de-evolving.
The thing about it is we laugh at it because it is funny. However, some of these fuckers have kids, and they're teaching their kids this shit, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel weird about indoctrinating children with things that are clearly bullshit, like religion, but I don't know if we should force them to stop.
No, I don't think we should force anybody to stop. We can't tell people what to teach their kids.
Teach their kids, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as the German poet Goethe said, there's nothing more frightening than ignorance in action.
Yep.
But the curving horizon, the sloping sea level, the spin of the Earth, unless you can see these phenomena with your own eyes, they may not be true.
A lot of people are going, this is
crazy, right? But think about this. For the last 25 generations, this is what we've told people.
Unlike what we've been told in school, some flat earthers imagine the Earth looks like a snow globe, round but not sphere. The North Pole is at the center of most flat Earth maps, with the ice of Antarctica holding.
I want to see them because she said it's at the center of most. I want to see two flat earthers that disagree where the North Pole is argue about why it is or isn't in the center.
But I've been multiple times to the South Pole, right? And that spot that's off of the thing. I've, and how do you explain that, right? I've seen the sun projected from both the south and the north, right? It's not like that stupid snow globe type thing. And if you believe it, you're either an idiot, or you're believing a lie, or you're a troll. Yep. Either way, the hell with you.
Yeah, the Antarctica is where the White Walkers live.
So you've been to the edge of the disk. You've been to the edge of the flat Earth, according to this map, and the center.
Absolutely. And I've helped launch, things in space. Other thing is, for example, yes, I bounced lasers off of the mirrors on the moon left by the Apollo astronauts. Yes, we did go to the moon.
That's not true.
Stanley Kubrick filmed that in a Hollywood closed set, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the rumors.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah,
in.
but there's a telescope just right out that direction over there that we use to bounce, do a laser pulse, and it bounces off the corner reflector that's left on the moon, so we can measure the distance to the moon within about a millimeter. And we point at the Apollo landing spots, and we get the flashback from the mirror.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Why do you think we never go to the moon anymore?
Money.
Yeah.
And money and politics.
I mean, if Trump gets this Space Force thing, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a moon base eventually.
Yeah, but the whole space race thing, I say politics is one of the reasons why we wanted to try to beat the Russians, right?
Yeah.
The other business is it costs money, and people don't want to spend that money.
My sweet Christian boys.
Yeah, it's true. It would be it's crazy expensive. I don't know. Yeah, that's one question. The people who are truthers about the moon landing, they always ask, why don't we go there anymore? It's like, what more could we do there? Unless we were going to build something there. I don't see why else we would go there just to jump around and spin.
We should build a Walmart there.
I mean, I proposed, putting a telescope there. In fact, it's one of the things that there's a company over here in Mountain View that keeps trying to hire me, and I say, hire me to land a telescope on the moon.
Oh.
Now, the nice thing about the moon is it's a nice stable place, particularly on the side not facing the Earth. It's shielded from radio interference, so you get very, very good radio reception there of the cosmos. So
I guarantee if we went to the moon regularly, we'd end up having a fucking Walmart up there.
Yeah, I need to have a troll there too.
Yeah, when that was pretty ingenious when they were having the Apollo 13 mission and they lost all their power, how they used the gravity of the moon to kind of shoot them back towards Earth.
Yeah, gravity works.
Yeah, when I was in high school, the Gene Kranz, the guy who was like the head of mission control for the Apollo missions, he went to the same high school I did, so he came and did this. He gave this like motivational speech. It was pretty cool to hear him talk about it. I don't even know.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like Ed Harris played him in that movie, the Tom Hanks Apollo 13 movie. Yeah.
And to watch those things on live, as a kid, I was only like 9 years old when it happened. I grew up in the Apollo era, right? I was born in 1960, and I grew up, and I just assumed that's what people did, right? So I knew it was special, it was important, but I just assumed that's what societies did. I didn't realize that was just an extraordinary time. I do think that returning back to the moon would be a good thing, particularly certainly there's one of the problems is that we only sent up one geologist. Of all we had a bunch of people up there that were really amazing astronauts, but in the last mission they finally sent a geologist up, and most of our really interesting rocks that we learned about the surface of the moon came from this guy who knew how to find rocks and pick up rocks, right? As opposed to people just say, oh, rock bag. He actually looked for interesting stuff. So that's one of the things. Another thing is that the moon as an observation platform will give us a really great stable platform to observe the cosmos, and it's also a launching spot for be able to move on to asteroids and Mars and beyond.
Well, isn't Elon Musk like financing some kind of moon thing to go to the moon?
It's like you don't actually go to the moon. You get like a kind of a whirlwind tour of the moon. You pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and get launched into space, and they loop you around the moon and then bring you back.
I would certainly enjoy going around the backside of the moon.
No,
but isn't it hundreds of millions, not hundreds of thousands?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I'm getting that confused with the commercial space flights that they were doing. That cost like $250,000. They basically fly you up just outside of the Earth, and you get to take your seatbelt off and float around for 20 minutes, and then they bring you back in. I think they piggyback you on a 747 or something like that. I think that's how they do it, right? I don't know. I saw this.
You're not talking about the vomit comet thing. You're talking about for example, the folks that send you on that stratospheric plane.
Right. When I was living in New Mexico, they were building the spaceport there, and they were talking about how they're going to do commercial space flights, but they're like $250,000, and it's just kind of like a quick trip to space, basically. So.
And it was one of the things where I looked at that for doing an experiment versus going to the South Pole multiple times, and I chose instead to do the South Pole multiple times rather than going to space. I don't know if I chose correctly, but I certainly enjoyed my look for meteorites in Antarctica or have one right up in space.
Yeah, I had to pick my mind. I'm sure, only so many people get to go into space, but going into space is way more dangerous, I would say, probably, than going into Antarctica. Probably. Yeah.
I don't know. The Yeti lives there, man.
I mean, talk about the most inhospitable environment. It's.
Though if you go with people that know what they're doing, and you have all the logistics and support behind you. Supposedly it's relatively safe, but still you need to know what you're doing. The people that first were exploring Antarctica that had no backup support, no radio communication, they were really pretty toast. But nowadays it's reasonably safe.
And from what I hear, they party hard down there, man.
Oh, you betcha. I mean, we typically, for example, like, the one of the things is beer, right? Beer is important because it gives you a good high calorie load and it doesn't freeze at the temperature that the water does. So bringing down good beer is important because one of the things I guess that's different than, let's say, somebody who lives in Minnesota or Manitoba or a place like that is you can't bundle up and hold your heat in for weeks at a time, right? You've got to generate your own heat. It's not a matter of like someone in Duluth that might, bundle up to go to their car that's on a block heater to then drive to the supermarket, and they bundle up again and go from the car into the indoors, where you're basically taking this bubble of warmth with you. When you live there for multiple weeks at a time, you have to generate your own heat, and you do that by eating. So you're on a diet that is probably around 4,000 calories a day.
Wow.
You've got to eat because that's what's going to keep you warm inside. And your clothing is there to minimize heat loss. Right? You don't want to have too rapid heat loss because that's how you get frostbite.
Well, you got some hellacious swamp sack, though, don't you? Your nuts be sweating. Good Lord.
Well, actually, no, you do not want to be so warm that you're sweating. In fact, people overdress. When someone says, I'm feeling cold, why don't you get to convince them to say that's because you have too much clothing on, right? Because when you get too warm, you sweat. The sweat propagates out, perspire. It reaches the freezing line, and now you have an ice block that then transfers heat, and you feel cold. You're damp and cold, and you're losing through this ice block stuff. So you have to try to convince people that are feeling cold. That's because you have too much stuff on, which is not exactly the most obviously you do, but yes, you have to eat a lot, and that's one of my things. Is I usually eat maybe once a day. And there you have to eat 5 times a day, and you get high carb loads and so forth. So beer is an important way to gain the calories.
So you don't gain any weight. You don't gain any weight.
No, I mean, I like 35. I was, at only 3,500 calories a day, and I was losing weight. And the doctor said, you gotta start eating. We'll have to start having you chew on, cubes of butter if you don't start, getting more and more calorie loads. So yes, you have to do 4,000 to 4,500 will sort of maintain your weight, and that's so you want good beer, and there's this Dutch group that brings around this just outstanding beer. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. Local brewed things in there, but they want to have a Dutch coffee house. If you've ever been to Amsterdam,
yes, I have.
And you know what a Dutch coffee house is?
Oh, yes, I do.
We do is we say, we'll build you an igloo where you can have your coffee house. You bring the beer and we'll be all fine, right? Because remember, down in Antarctica, there's no laws. Nothing's illegal.
So I can murder you and be okay?
Well, there's no laws say you can't, but we operate on the idea that it's nice to be nice.
I like how that's the first thing he went to. So I can murder you. Yeah, Pimpmunk's going to go to Antarctica. He's going to murder Landon. He's going to lose a ton of weight, but still eat whatever he wants. It sounds like a good place. Lots of fun.
Yes. And some of the hydroponic gardens down there are pretty nice.
And there's weed and beer, so there you go.
Yeah.
And so right now that my folks at Amazon Scott, hey folks down there, they're about to have their sunrise. They have a crop of hydroponics that let's say there's some herbs that the strain came from Maui. And that they've been crossbreeding and doing stuff down there for further stuff, and they certainly enjoy that.
See, down here crossbreeding means fuck your cousin.
Yes. Anyway, so speaking of alter perspective, that's
yeah. It sounds like a good time down there, man. I would think that everyone down there is just totally straight laced, working on science, but no.
No.
Now I've heard some very cool stories from Landon about.
And it's also the people down there from all over the world, all walks of life. Interesting stories, and what, and to say there's some people enjoy other people's company, and
a lot of fucking.
Well, particularly because there's times when you get basically nailed by a storm, right? And
then nailed by your partner. There you go.
By maybe anywhere between a half day and maybe 2 days or so, you got this roaring blizzard, and all you can do is keep your tent, from having ice pile up on top of it, because then you start to get cold. But you just hang around and do stuff and enjoy yourself, and
you get the dick wet.
Yes.
Wow. That's.
I highly recommend. The folks down there are really. I know it's a pun, but cool, right?
Yeah. It sounds.
And by the way, and don't stress about the temperature, because the clothing and the gear, and if you help, if you're with other people that know how to keep it comfortable, that's fine. The altitude is probably the biggest problem. If you've never been on high altitude, that's where you might get in a little bit of uncomfortableness.
Damn.
I lived in Albuquerque, so and that's like the altitude of Denver, so I'm usually pretty good at the higher altitudes.
But the average, Antarctica is the highest average altitude in any continent on the planet, and so you get barometric pressures that are equivalent to about 15,000 feet and above.
I always get sick when I get in Colorado, man. Every time.
You're not used to it. You're used to being down near sea level.
Yeah, dude, I always get nauseous as hell when I'm in Denver.
And that's sort of altitude sickness stuff, but
yeah.
Even when I would go from Albuquerque to Santa Fe, the elevation difference was so different. It's so drastic, and they're only about an hour's drive apart from each other. But I could feel it, I'd be out of breath way more easily.
Yeah. But unlike, for example, climbing the mountains where you can just come down, there you're in the middle of the continent.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to descend because it may be a week or more before you can get down to low altitude. And so you just have to work on not getting altitude sickness.
Did you hear about the guy that launched himself in a self-made rocket to prove the flat Earth theory?
Yeah.
Yes. So did he survive?
There he is. He's lucky he didn't die.
Yeah, very lucky. I'm glad he didn't, but damn.
That doesn't seem very high, though.
Yeah.
It's not that high.
I'm just wondering what was he going to prove? I don't really get it. Yeah, it looks like you get about as high as like an airplane, you know? Maybe
not that, because given how fast he went up, I mean, he's not reaching commercial airline altitude heights, because otherwise he'd be he'd have the G's pulling that would have killed him if he got that high. No, that looks only what, in feet, a couple thousand feet maybe.
Yeah. I don't know how this would prove anything. What was he going to take a photo?
I mean, why don't you go up to a top of a tall mountain and do the same thing? Like Telescope Peak, for example, next to Death Valley, where you've got this 11,000-foot vertical thing you can see. If you want to be, that's an example of a more rational way to get some altitude, but.
Do you remember a few years ago when that guy did the space jump where he took the balloon?
Yeah.
I mean, you could see the live video from that when he was about to jump, and you could see the video from the balloon. You could easily see how round the Earth was from that. So this guy is wasting his time. That's what he should have done. He should have taken a balloon up there.
Someone in the chat said he got 1,800 feet.
Oh, wow. That's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I say my altitude record is in feet is around 82,000 feet, and that was, and you could see you could see a little bit of the curvature, but particularly you could see that the atmosphere was down there, right? You were above most of the atmosphere at that point.
So basically, this was just to get on the news.
Yeah.
A publicity stunt?
No, look at him.
Well, he was injured. So, yeah.
Man, I wish you could. I don't know if you heard about it, but I wish you could find the video of that mascot over the weekend who shot himself in the nuts with a t-shirt cannon.
I can look it up to see if I can find it.
He went to go shoot the shirt out in the crowd, and he actually had the fucking thing turned wrong, and he shot himself in the balls with it. It's the funniest damn thing I've ever seen.
That sounds like a Cartman move.
It sounds like a damn egghead move.
Kick you in the nuts.
Let's take a look here.
This is so fucking hilarious.
I mean, this is apropos to flat earthers, right?
Yeah.
Shooting yourself in the nuts. That's
true.
All right. Here it is. I found it. Here it is. Oh! They're taking him off the field like they do an injured player. That's pretty good.
He was put on the injured list. I mean, he shot himself right in the ball. And I wonder how much pressure when the shirt first comes out of there, how much it is, because because they shoot them way out there,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, think of you could kick a t-shirt bundle into the crowd, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like the force of someone kicking you in the nuts.
Are we sure that's not a furry? Are we sure that's a mascot? Maybe furries are just into that.
Obviously, a flat earth.
I'm sure we got some furries in the chat room. Do you like your balls being pounded?
Some of them probably do. I'm going. Let's see. I'm going to read some of these.
Do flat earthers believe in round testicles, or do they have flat testicles?
Good question. I'm going to read some of the super chats that I missed. Jennifer Robbins, $5. Look at all those idiots. I believe she was referring to all the people saying that they weren't crazy. Sleep Monk donated $2. Wake me up inside. Sleep Monk.
It's wonderful.
Jesus Christ gave a 9/11. Drink my sweet Christian boys. I'll do that right now, Jesus.
Go. There's Jesus.
Paragon Gauge, $1. Give this to Pimpy. Slit Bod Mod, $1. Prove to me that the Earth even exists.
Ah.
Yeah.
Done.
Yes.
Done.
What else do we have here? We have... Oh, this is crazy. Did you hear about that guy that was releasing the the things that people could use to 3D print guns?
Okay.
Yeah, he got in trouble recently, like yesterday, and this is crazy. It almost makes me think like someone was out to get him, though, because a lot of people were mad that he was releasing the plans for these guns.
The man who tried to sell blueprints for making untraceable plastic guns is now accused of sexually assaulting an underage girl. Cops say Cody Wilson met the girl on a dating website called Sugar Daddy Meet.
Okay, well, one thing, shouldn't it be the website's responsibility to make sure everyone is of age?
Yeah.
Although Sugar Daddy Meets, maybe that implies the type of site it is.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, a sugar daddy is just a guy with money that, you know, pays for women to live lavish lifestyles in exchange for, you know, so.
I need a sugar mama.
You do?
And paid her $500 after he had sex in a hotel room in Austin, Texas. Investigators say they have surveillance video of them getting off an elevator together at that hotel. The alleged victim told police Wilson bragged that he was a big deal. We're still waiting to hear from Wilson.
Do you know who I am?
And his attorney.
So
kind of a big deal.
It's crazy. I mean,
that is crazy.
Last month, he's just talking about the blueprints for this. It's like a single shot plastic gun. But yeah,
it's not as if you know how to make a gun is a secret. It's just that he made it convenient for people with a 3D printer,
right?
To do that. Although you need a decent 3D printer as opposed to one of the toy ones.
Yeah, and no background check, and the firearm is totally untraceable. There's no ID number or anything.
That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing right there.
But a machinist could make a gun and be untraceable.
Yeah, that's scary though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a skilled trade that not everyone possesses the ability to do. But yes, yeah, I mean, when all you have to do is buy a 3D printer and it does it for you, and it's also a gun that can't be detected by a metal detector. That's another kind of that's a scary thing about it. So.
Yes. And now he's out there popping the cherries of 15-year-olds. So.
I want to know why this 15-year-old was on this website.
Yeah, it should have better, you know, age, whatever it's called, vetting.
Although the problem is, you know, I'm sure the website might even say put your birth date in, so you put it as 18. You're live. That's
yeah. But some of these sites are like Chatterbait, right? You
gotta send them a picture of your ID.
Yeah, you gotta send them a picture of your ID and stuff. So I think sites like this maybe should do so. But then again, if they start doing it, then it'd be like a slippery slope. Every site will start doing it, and maybe the invasion of privacy shit will start, and all this good shit. You know, it's always crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a slightly older news clip. It's a former congressman arguing about how vaccines cause autism.
Mercury is toxic to the human brain, and neurological problems have been caused by mercury. And mercury should not be in.
First, learn how to say it correctly.
Mercury. He's American.
Vaccines.
Mercury.
My grandson got 9 shots in one day, 7 of which had mercury in it, and he became autistic in a very short period of time. We had scientists from around the world. Now, I'm for vaccination.
Can you tell me the name of any of these scientists who claim this? Because they go against what every study, I mean, the CDC says this, Institutes of Health, all these studies say you're just wrong.
Well, I'll be very happy to provide those for you. I didn't bring them with me. But I can tell you, I was chairman for 6 years.
Wait a minute. You were coming on national television to prove this point, but yet you didn't bring any proof.
Some people I know, some scientist, Mr. Scientist told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That obviously proves it.
Yep. And he made it sound like his grandson got a vaccine, and then he watched him just turn into an autistic kid immediately.
It's like the Hulk. Oh my God, he's autisming out.
I could see his IQ dropping by the minute.
Years we had these hearings, and we did have those studies, and there's no question that many scientists around the world believe that the mercury in vaccinations is a contributing factor.
That's not true,
to
though.
neurological.
I don't.
Many scientists?
Yeah. I never even heard a scientist say that at all.
Yeah.
So is there just like a trace amount of mercury, like such a small amount that it doesn't cause any harm in vaccines?
Mercury's in the environment. It's a natural element. The thing that you talk about mercury poisoning is actually mercury compounds that can form that will cause problems. But there's no known link to autism from mercury. But of course, everyone's going to say the conspiracy is the big pharma and blah 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 and flat Earth blah 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 and 9/11 blah 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 and
I had someone tell me one time there's more mercury in a fish than there is in a single vaccination. So,
sure.
Oh, there's a lot of mercury in tuna carries a lot of mercury, right?
Yeah, there are certain fish that carry more than others.
Yeah.
Problems. Now listen, I'm for vaccinations, but we need to get the mercury out of all of them.
Well, are you against breastfeeding a child?
No, of course not.
Okay, but you are aware that methyl mercury is actually in breast milk that's given to children. And in fact,
drop the mic,
presence of, if the child is only breastfed, they get more methyl mercury than they would ever have gotten in any of the vaccines. You're aware of that, right?
Let me just say I'm not an expert on breastfeeding.
Wait, so you hold hearings for 3 years and nobody ever told you that?
I'm a big fan of boobies, but, not an expert on breastfeeding.
I don't know nothing about the titty juice.
There's mercury in breast milk?
We never talked about that. What we talked about was the vaccinations.
Okay.
And mercury in vaccinations should not be there for adults or children.
Sir, you're aware that the kind of mercury that was in vaccines, which is no longer there, is different than the kind of mercury you get from fish, correct?
Let me just tell you.
Are you aware of that?
If you'll do your research, you'll find that any type of mercury injected into the human body can cause neurological problems.
Do you know what kind of mercury is in fish?
Well, what are you talking about?
Oh my God!
Honestly,
dude.
I didn't know that the stuff in the fish and the vaccines are different. I don't know about different types of mercury, but
consumption of fish is the most significant source of mercury that for people. Although plants, you can get livestock and plants can also contain mercury compounds.
Yeah, but this dude's got all these experts and he don't know shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's different kinds of mercury. There's methyl mercury, which is what's found in fish, which in high concentrations is toxic to human beings.
Right.
That's not the mercury that was ever in vaccines. You are aware of that, correct?
Well, all I can tell you is that if you'll talk to scientists around the world and look at the studies that we had before the committee, you'll find that they believe that mercury in vaccinations is a contributing factor to neurological problems, including
Landon,
autism.
Mr. Scientist Man, is he correct?
No. And in fact, there's no known linking to autism. Sorry for people that think that they can blame their kids' terrible problems on mercury or vaccines. In fact, those people tend to, the anti-vaxxers tend to cause more deaths than and problems than they're trying to save.
So there's actually 0 cases that confirm that mercury has caused autism. So even someone that gets mercury poisoning, maybe they accidentally bit open a thermometer and ate mercury. There was no cases where they developed autism from it, right?
Yeah, and it's not. There's no linkage that I know of. Now, I'm not a doctor. So
right.
I'm not a physician, so this is out of my area. But again, the problem, of course, is that people assume when they hear the element mercury and say, "Hey, my kid got autism." So, for example, hydrogen, right? There's compounds. I can guarantee you that the kid ingested hydrogen, and the kid has autism. So, are we going to say hydrogen causes autism? I mean, it's
yeah.
I can guarantee the kid that got autism drank water.
Yeah, water causes autism.
Causes autism? Obviously.
It's the fluoride in the water. They put the fluoride in the water to poison us.
They're going after your bodily fluids.
Now, we're for vaccinations.
I know you've said that, but a 2010 study by the CDC showed that there was no association between prenatal and infant exposure to vaccines that contained thimerosal and an increased risk for autism. In 2009, an Italian study showed that immunization with thimerosal-containing vaccines does not decrease neuropsychological performance later in childhood. 2006, the FDA concluded there was no association between thimerosal-containing vaccines and autism after reviewing evidence by the Institute of Medicine. I mean, the list goes on and on, all the way back to 1999 when you were holding these studies.
Why would this guy come on here agreeing to defend this position? He looks totally unprepared to defend this position.
Yeah.
Because as a politician, if you get your name in the news, that's a win. I'm serious. You don't care whether it's good or bad publicity, as long as they spell your name right.
And Landon used to be a mayor of a town, or assistant mayor. Right?
Yeah. So if you want to piss them off, you say this anonymous member, elected official, is saying blah blah blah, and it's allegedly, right?
Allegedly. Someone in the chat said the water in Flint, Michigan probably causes autism.
Yeah, I think the piss that I just peed will cause autism.
Wow.
They declared the use of thimerosal in childhood vaccines poses no harm, and even out of an abundance of caution, they removed it, and the incidence of autism continued to rise.
You're a very bright young man, but I don't know where you're getting your information.
Well, it's called research.
You whippersnapper.
Church, you could do it.
I did research. I did research for 3 years. Unfortunately, you haven't had the opportunity to research it for 3 years.
All right.
And I had scientists.
Here's the CDC. Quote, there's no convincing evidence of harm caused by the low doses of thimerosal in vaccines except for minor reactions like redness and swelling at the injection site. I got a list of dozens of studies. I could spend a long time just reading them to you, but I don't think it's going to make any difference.
He looks like I may have just been wrecked.
Yeah,
he just don't know what to do.
You just, whippersnapper being clever there with stuff, because I want to believe in my stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Get off my lawn with those facts, boy.
So I guess now we have a peace treaty between North and South Korea.
Yeah.
It's like the Korean War just now officially ended, from what I understand. Yeah. Let's see.
Cathay News cameramen record the last vital moments of the Korean War as a convoy of army vehicles brings United Nations officers to the truce site at Panmunjom for the signing of the armistice.
The United States is still officially at war with North Korea, and that is so important to remember because it serves as the backdrop for why we have these tensions today and why it is North Korea has rationalized and justified the construction of nuclear weapons.
Nuclear.
The U.S. is a signatory to the Armistice Agreement, along with the United Nations. And it's interesting, but I often have to remind people that South Korea did not sign that Armistice Agreement. And so the United States would have to be part of any kind of peace treaty or peace agreement that will be signed with North Korea.
I see. So it was just an armistice that they've had all this time.
They said, well, we'll stop actively shooting at each other.
Since the 50s.
Korea. The conflict with the United States is so central to their ideology, but if they want to move on from this war rhetoric.
It looks so funny.
The only fat guy in North Korea.
And start focusing on their economy, what Kim Jong-un needs is some sort of declaration.
Oh, dear.
I'm sorry, this guy, I don't think he's for real. I think he's going to end up blowing every goddamn body up.
He doesn't have the capability to do that.
Well, no, I think you're wrong. I think he's got a special lab somewhere on the flat earth.
He has a lab. He just can't shoot rockets very far.
What I'm more concerned is that he sells dirty bomb components to someone even more radical.
Yeah. I think Dennis Rodman is the secret to all the bombing.
And strategic interests. China, for example. The United States is not going to give up its weapons. We could be in a protracted...
From what I understand, Dennis Rodman had a lot to do with Trump meeting Kim Jong-un.
That's what I hear, man.
Yeah, he had a lot to do with it. And when he first went over there and met him, he gave him a copy of Donald Trump's book, like 4 or 5 years ago, before Trump was even about to run for president.
He was trying to provoke an incident, I suppose.
It's pretty strange.
I just feel like we're all in a reality show right now, and Trump's running it.
He's sitting there, drinking Diet Coke and running it.
Yeah.
So I was in North Korea. I visited there, and it is part of actually. North Korea is a signatory to the Antarctic Treaty.
Oh,
Antarctic Treaty is not a UN thing. It's a general agreement about what to do about 6 degrees south. And in order for us to take the meteorite detectors down to Antarctica, we had to get permission, or basically because any country could veto it. And all the 38, I have 38 signatures at the time. 37 of them you could reach by email and say, have any problems? And we say, hey, these things, they look like metal detectors, but they're really meteorite detectors. They're only going to look for meteorites and identify them. We won't even remove anything. We're not mining there. We're not doing this stuff. But to have North Korea say they weren't going to veto it, I had to go to Pyongyang.
Wow.
So I had to fly to South Korea because you can't send them a letter. You can't email them. You can't. Right. So I had to go to South Korea, and I was issued in Seoul. I was issued a special passport where it was blank, essentially no other things, because they said, you visited Canada and they're mad at Canada, so they can arrest you. Right. You don't give them any excuse. You go there with a separate passport that just has your ID and no other stamps.
Wow.
All right. And I said that I had the piece of paper and my clothes, and that was it. No cell phones, no cash. You show up there to say, hey, please sign this thing.
Who did you have to talk to?
Well, there was the delegate from the officials from Pyongyang were there to say, yes, we will not veto your taking down these meteorite detectors to Antarctica to look for meteorites. And so that was signed. Now they took me out. So the actual debate is whether or not I actually even left the airport, because I showed up on a plane, come to this terminal, show them my passport and this document, and they went and got the person who's going to sign it, and they said, well, come with me. And so I followed them out, and I followed them out of this building, and of course I was instructed by a person that says, in Korea it's not considered polite to look at someone's backside. So please keep your gaze down to the ground because we're going to go around to the front, right? Went to the front, and there's the great leader and the dear leader and the whatever the Teletubby guy that's there, right? I didn't call him that at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was supposed to sit there and they describe things, and they remember them saying and when this person was born, the birds in Korea broke out in song and they sung in Korean. And they were telling you, and you could still say all right, and of course they said you want to take a picture, and I say I have the piece of paper, I have no cameras, right? And it's like that's strange, and so they took me over a table and they signed it and said yes, we won't veto it. And they were thinking, okay, you're going to go over to the hotel with the Westerners. And I say, I have no money. I'm not planning on staying. I wasn't planning on staying here. I was planning on signing and leaving, right? I had no money. I was intending to spend money in that place anyway.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay, we're going to put you on the net. What's the next plane, right? And it turned out that there was a plane to Singapore. And so that the next flight leaving, they stuck me on a plane in Singapore. So I showed up at Singapore with just my clothes, this passport, no visa and a thing. And I said, hey, I can I borrow a phone? Because, blah, 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 blah. And I explained, it's like, I got kicked out of North Korea.
Wow.
So I had to spend a little bit of humor time. Now, Singapore has its own problem, because I remember looking in the airport on the toilet. There was this sign in multiple languages, one of which was English, and it talked about the fine for leaving the toilet seat
unflushed.
Wow.
Or leaving it up. Yeah, I heard not flushing it is a crime too, and chewing gum and walking past a window naked in your own house if someone sees you naked. Weird porn laws too, like a lot of porn is banned there.
I know. So this is a different form of humor impaired country. So I have a confession. I did bring the toilet seat down, but I also piddled on the toilet seat. I left on the toilet seat just because it was like I had just had it up to here with this authoritarian BS.
You were about to get caned.
So I'm sure if I go back to Singapore, they will cane me for having admitted to piddling on a toilet seat that was down. Now it wasn't like dripping urine, but I said, okay.
Little driblets.
I was, if I can't leave it up, I'm going to make sure it stays down, and I'm not going to be too accurate on that.
In Singapore, you can get up to the death penalty for drug offenses too. There, it's pretty serious.
Humor impaired. Yes.
They'll cut your fucking hand off for stealing.
Nah, normally they just beat you with a cane, but they do give you death sentences are not just for murderers there. So
they're pretty strict, but that would be a hell of a thing to get caned for. Not leaving the seat down, up or down or whatever. That's fucked up.
Well,
I confess, I piddled on a toilet seat in the airport at Singapore.
I'm gonna confess, you saying piddling sounded real gay.
Yeah, chewing gum is totally illegal there too. They have these weird cleanliness laws there, and I remember, in the early '90s, there was an American that got arrested there for doing graffiti, and it was a huge news story because he got caned for it. And
that was that young dude, right? He was like a college student or something.
Yep, and they beat him with a stick.
Yeah, they beat him. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure they would beat me with a stick for. No, it was a few drops of urine, but I did not clean it because I figured there was because there was no sign saying
you're a fucking criminal.
Do not leave urine on the seat.
Yeah, they need a sign for every law.
they said you couldn't leave it up.
Well, there you go.
But there was nothing about not piddling on the seat, so I figured a couple of drops there, and I wasn't. That was my intent, but on the other hand, I saw it there and I said, okay.
I would have took a shit beside the toilet.
Yeah,
that's a caneable offense right there.
I'm sure.
Leave a message.
Yes, I'm sure that they would have caned Pimpmunk.
Yes.
Viva la revolution!
Yeah, never go to Singapore, Pimpmunk.
Yeah, no, fuck no, dude. My fat ass be beat every 5 seconds.
There was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where they went to this one planet, and at this planet, they had basically committing any crime carried the death penalty, and you would be executed instantly by a police officer if you were caught breaking any law. And there was a law that there was this grass you weren't allowed to walk on, and Wesley Crusher walked on it, so they were about to kill him immediately. And Captain Picard had to break the Prime Directive and beam Wesley out of there before they executed him.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't that's not interference?
It's
if you remove somebody from it.
I guess he got in trouble because that was he was interfering with their laws and culture or whatever, you know. I didn't like Wesley Crusher, so I was kind of like, yeah, kill him. But
damn.
Yeah. By the way, I heard an interview with him.
You did.
In a thing where Wesley feels very, very personally offended that a number of people don't like him.
Yeah, you could tell he's very sensitive just by like his Twitter and everything.
You know, Ben, a little side thing here. Landon has debated Neil deGrasse Tyson on if the planet Pluto is if Pluto's a planet or not.
Yeah, it's a dwarf planet, so dwarf planets are planets.
So like what's the criteria? Just size?
Well, I mean, one of the things that are you talking about the what I use or what the IAU said?
So
whose criteria?
So it is subjective to a degree whether it's a planet or a dwarf planet.
Well, they've declared it a dwarf planet, but one of the recent things they say, you know, dwarf is a modifier. Initially, the people who did the 2006 definition said Pluto's a dwarf planet, and dwarf planets aren't planets. They went that far. But of course, they did another stupid thing. They said it had to orbit our sun. So all those 3,800 plus round things out there that are orbiting other stars aren't planets according to 2006 definition because they're not orbiting our sun. That's just, and by the way, also the AAU's bylaws say that you have to circulate a proposal for 6 months. And the proposal that Alan Stern and a bunch of planetary scientists proposed was voted down. And then people said, we want to have this definition. They stuck it in there and they voted on it and accepted it. But, you know, IAU is kind of a ridiculous little set of...
But hasn't Tyson kind of changed his mind lately about his opinion? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was that, Tyson, was also saying, yes, that Pluto is one of the most geologically active planets in our solar system, second only to Earth. And he said that was a compelling thing. And when I debated him, it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek, let's get into a debate thing. And so I was saying, you would say that hydrogen is not an element because it's too light, right? And he would say, you would call a grain of dust around in the rings of Saturn a planet, right? And it was,
you guys were having fun, yeah.
Absolutely, we didn't take it seriously.
He seems like he has a great sense of humor too, Tyson.
He's got a very sharp wit, right, and very, very good. He can think on his feet quite well. But yes. So when people ask me today, Pluto is a dwarf planet, and dwarf is a type of planet, just like dwarf galaxies are galaxies and dwarf stars are stars. Dwarf planets are planets. Dwarf people are people.
But what would you consider Brett King?
A dwarf person.
A dwarf mind.
Yeah.
There you go. Dwarf mind.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
I'm not saying he's
Landon.
mindless. I'm just saying he has a dwarf mind.
Landon Noll called my kids an idiot.
Stop attacking my family.
I'll defer to Red Eye on that.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, dude, I love this picture.
There you go. That's sexy son of a bitch right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this up again so people can screenshot it because people have been giving me some great.
I've seen a few good ones.
Yeah. Here's here's my favorite one.
I like that one. That's my favorite one.
You were in an anti-kratom PSA.
Yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
I like this one too. Because it's that
that
weird
one's
guy.
all right. Yes, that weird little dude. Yeah, that one's okay. It looks like he's jerking off to me right now.
He's jerking off to you,
to
jerking off.
Yeah, that's what it is. I like that one. Oh, it's all right. I like the other one better though.
That's pretty good. What else?
Those are the only two we have right now. So
yeah,
if I was
Skep Jesus made that one.
Yes.
So he wins on that one.
Man, I woke up to a ton of messages telling me to wake you up. Like I have the power to wake you up from Seattle somehow.
Someone actually messaged me.
Yeah.
Say, hey, Cole.
The crazy thing is, I was just high and fell asleep. And I wasn't hurting. I was just passed out.
By the way, I was asleep when those messages came, but I think if I had been awake, I would not have called you. I would have.
Yeah, I look peaceful. Look at me. I look like I'm having a nice dream.
Were you snoring?
I'm doing good. No, they said I wasn't snoring at all.
That would have been
But
great.
you folks, and he's not a loud snorer, but folks understand that Pimpmunk does not sleep well, right?
No, I don't.
And when you see him going to sleep, let him sleep.
See, I suffer from insomnia. I mean, sometimes I go like 3 days without any sleep. I mean, it's like that bad. So that night I was sleeping. I was on your show. Well, I was on this.
Yeah.
And then, you remember because I popped a couple of the pills and then I killed a kratom glass. And then when I got on my live show, I just passed the fuck out.
We all shared a hotel room in Anaheim, and I know that all three of us snore. And when I'm drunk, I snore super loud, super loud. So that, and then we had
Barbara.
We had Barbara sleeping on the floor.
Although you can verify that Pimpmunk is actually a pretty clean person. He's not a right.
Yeah,
I mean that's one of the things.
Yeah, he's talking about what that Rebzion said.
Of course.
Fuck that little Ellen DeGeneres look-alike.
Oh, you know what?
Though a Pimpmunk can also let out a bit of a gas attack.
Oh yeah, Billy knows that.
There's a video out there. You can't see me in it, but you can hear me snoring in it. It's crazy. Let's listen.
Can't see anything. Is it a video? Because I can't see anything.
Yeah, it's it's.
Damn,
that's me snoring.
Well, you're a baritone when you sing.
Yeah, apparently.
I could tell that.
Sounds like
my
a bear
God.
for sure.
That's hilarious. What do we have? Oh, you want to watch some G-Man, Pimpmunk?
Oh,
sure.
All right.
The fool has said it is hard.
This is slightly older, but this is great.
Hey guys, so this is going to be a random spur of the moment video for me. A lot of people ask me questions about what happened to me to make me an atheist, at what point in my life did I become an atheist, and there wasn't one
I think this is a response video,
catastrophic event in my
G-Man to
life that happened to
Jacqueline.
me. A lot of people phrase it like that too. What must have happened to you? There's nothing wrong with me. Nothing traumatic happened. It was actually a really gradual and slow process.
This is going to be very interesting because I'm dying to hear what brought Jacqueline Glenn to the place that she doesn't believe in any God whatsoever. Not just one God, any God whatsoever.
Okay.
And I think this
is it harder to not believe in all of them than it is to just not believe in
G-Man has this shtick, right? He's got this shtick about, let me tell you about this blah, 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 weird religion. Do you not believe in that? Well, because you don't know it, therefore you're not a true atheist. Yeah.
This is a very interesting testimony and a very telling testimony, and I think a lot of you are going to find this interesting.
And it was something that I fought myself on because I grew up Catholic. I was raised Catholic from kindergarten to my senior year in high school. And then in college, I became evangelical and I felt like I needed it, like I was going to go to hell. I felt like I needed to tell other people, otherwise they were going to go to hell. I was nuts.
going to hell, Jacqueline.
And then eventually I slowly started to let go of it because I was lying to myself. And it took me a long time to admit to myself that it was a giant lie.
Stop right there, Jacqueline Glenn. Stop right.
You can stop her. You're watching a video that you can pause. Like what?
Right there.
Stop right there, G-Man.
Stop.
You can stop
there.
Stop right there.
Ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous that you was a Catholic. No, it's not ridiculous that you became an evangelical, if that's true, when you was in college.
Ridiculous.
What's ridiculous is that you said you believed in a lie. To the best of my recollection.
Recollection? Did you
Regulation.
say? Did he
Recollection.
say to the best of my recollection? Hold on.
If that's true, when you was in college. What's ridiculous is that you said you believed in a lie. To the best of my recollection.
Yep.
Reculation.
Is he getting recollection and regulation mixed up? Or maybe recreation?
I've never heard an atheist, and I mean one, to actually prove that God isn't real and that he doesn't exist. If anything,
because they don't have to prove it; they just have to lack the belief in it.
Yeah,
you idiots.
You have to prove it.
From personal experience, from dealing with atheists,
and even if we could, you wouldn't agree.
If I got G-Man in here right now, he would say he can prove it. He really would.
No. Oh yeah.
Because his prayers get answered.
He's never lost a debate ever in his life. That is the smartest man on the fucking planet.
When he prays
but a man who has committed intellectual suicide is not the man to say he's won every debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always wins.
That they have a faith that God isn't real. It's their own personal opinion that God isn't real, but they have never provided any evidence or any real proof that God isn't real. And like I said, I'm very interested in hearing on why you left your faith in God. Okay, what evidence was shown to you? What proof was shown to you? What happened in your life that caused you to come to the conclusion to believe that you was believing in a lie? I mean, that's quite.
I'm pretty sure she explained it in her video.
Yeah.
And for all of you people out there that are saying that the burden of proof is on the one making the claim.
He did a video. G-Man makes videos from his work a lot. And he made a video talking to a troll on the phone that called his work. And then he said he got fired from his job because of that. And then I saw another video recently where he's back making videos at his work. What he should have done is lied and said he got fired and then stopped making videos from his job. I felt bad. I felt bad. I thought he got fired. I was like, that sucks. That's, I'm not a fan of G-Man, but that sucks. But now, I mean, if he keeps making videos from his job, he almost deserves
He's asking for it. He's asking for it.
Yeah.
And then he went on that fucking rampage and started doxing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a person, however, that thought it was funny to go after G-Man and his work, and that's not cool.
No, that's not cool. No, that's not cool.
Yeah, I agree. I'll watch G-Man's videos and make fun of him. I'll bring him on here and make fun of him, but it stays here. It doesn't go into real life.
It's personal
like that. Yeah,
it's not personal. This is all like fun shit. Yeah, we're gonna pick on people. People pick on me, but if you start bringing real life into it, you're a dick.
Yeah. So there's a person who wants to, friend me in a particular medium who has gone after G-Man. If you want to do that, you go to G-Man personally and apologize for what you've done.
There you go.
And you send me the video of that personal apology, and I'll consider friending you.
Okay. Yeah. See, Landon knows the guy who did the trolling.
Really? Who called G-Man's job?
Yes, he wants to be Landon's friend, but Landon won't be his friend because he did that shit. We don't like G-Man, but we do not want to do that to a person.
I mean, we don't want you to fuck with them in real life. You don't go leave a comment on his video. Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did that thing and calling him his work and trying to get him messed up. You go and apologize to G-Man and make a sincere apology and make amends for what you've done.
Yeah, that's taking
Now,
food out of that
G-Man,
man's mouth.
I think that his belief system is silly,
Oh, he's
but
an
he does not deserve
No.
what you did.
Yeah. We don't want G-Man sleeping on the street. I mean, for one thing,
Hell no.
he won't be able to make these videos for us to laugh at anymore.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hell, my voice is worse than normal. I'm losing my shit over here, man.
Situation is a little bit different. You see, Jacqueline Glenn started off believing that God exists. Okay, she was a Roman Catholic out of her own mouth, and then she became an
Most
evangelical
atheists
Christian. She had a belief that God existed. She attempted to serve God, I'm assuming, if she was an evangelical, or even when she was part of the Catholic Church or whatever. Okay, so in order for you to get to a place that God doesn't exist and know for certain that you was believing in a lie, evidence must be presented to you.
Bullshit.
So no, yeah, I was a Bible thumping Baptist, American Baptist, because Southern Baptists smoke, so we were American Baptists, right? And I was somebody who passed out tracts at the airport and other things, as a kid. And I chose to not believe that stuff. And I have a lack of belief.
Well, his point is just ridiculous because when you're a kid, you're taught this stuff and you grow up believing. It's just it seems natural. So once you get older, you stop believing. If you do stop believing, the burden of proof doesn't. That's just retarded.
I grew up. I bet you that is what happened. I grew up.
Yeah, that's just a retarded argument, man.
But it's somehow I have to prove that God doesn't exist. No, I lack a belief in a God. In fact, I agree with Laplace. I agree with Laplace to say I have no need for that hypothesis.
G-Man is getting laid. I think that's what the problem is.
It's kind of weird because and he could have been lying about this, but G-Man told me that he started out like in the Nation of Islam, actually, like the Louis Farrakhan type stuff, and then he became a Christian. But I don't know. He could just be blowing smoke for all I know. But
wow.
Yeah.
It can't be a feeling. It can't be some unreal experience or whatever. And trust me, when you hear her reasoning for becoming an atheist, you're going to understand why I decided to respond to this video.
Okay. My doubt probably started whenever I was in high school because one of my best friends was gay. And I never in my life, even whenever I was at my most right-wing, most evangelical point, did I ever discriminate against people who were gay. Because that was a normal thing to me because my best friend was gay. And whenever people discriminated against him, it did not make sense. So to see other people use the very religion that I held so near and dear to my heart to bash someone that I was also very close to, I just couldn't reconcile that. And whenever I looked in the Bible and read Leviticus, where it actually said that you should put homosexuals to death, I tried for a long time to cherry pick that, but eventually I had to come to terms with the fact that that's in there and it should not be.
Many of you miss this.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that made perfect fucking sense. I mean, that's, oh my God.
Yeah.
So what does Mr. G-Man say?
Listen to these testimonies on why people become atheists to begin with. Yes, they love to bring up the problem of evil. They love to bring up some of the things in here that they themselves believe is wrong. If you listen to what she said, she had a firm disagreement with a law that God gave Israel concerning homosexuality.
So if Israelis put gay people to death, would you be okay with that? I think he would, because he's okay with slavery too.
Yeah.
So,
and that's when her doubt started. I mean, I want you to think about this a minute now. She has a moral disagreement with God. And that means that he might not exist.
She has a moral disagreement with a book that people claim to be divinely inspired, but in fact it was written by a bunch of people that has a bunch of fables and a bunch of myths that have been ripped off other religions and
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. A lot of them say that. They always say that we hate God. No, we don't. We don't believe in him.
You ever get the people that tell you
we lack a belief in a God, right?
Yeah.
And if you need some supporting stuff because you might think, well, maybe there's something to it, actually read that Bible. It's funny because I read it as a Christian 2.5 times, but I did it from a Christian context, and I excused lots of crap. Right now, if you, for example, go to watch the Milwaukee Atheists on Sundays at 11 Pacific time, they read the Bible and listen to what that stuff is in there. You sit there and say, dang, that's in the Bible too? That's not going to be my text for how I'm going to conduct my life. But if that is how you come to some sort of realization that God exists, wow, that's really poor. I think that's poor judgment. But again, atheists lack a belief in God.
Yep.
Right? They don't disbelieve. They lack a belief in a God. Right? Any God. Right? And of course, G-Man will say, yeah, but what about this God? I mean, do you know about this God? Believe in this thing. It's one of this sort of silly.
He'll never fully acknowledge what the point you just made. He'll kind of like change the subject a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll walk around.
Let's think about this a minute, just for a minute. Your mother, you can see your mother, you can touch your mother, you can hug your mother, all that other good stuff.
Don't talk about my mama, man.
Your mother tells you to do something that you disagree with. Are you then going to start to begin to doubt that your mother is real?
No.
What the hell?
Because your mother
Great
told
screenshot.
you something you disagree with. Therefore, you believe your mother exists.
Popeye G-Man.
I mean, your mother has to exist in order for you to exist. So
exactly.
Your mother has to exist to disagree with, but an atheist lacks a belief in God. They don't disagree with God. They lack a belief in God. They are atheist. I mean, how hard is that for you? But apparently it is hard for G-Man.
Yeah. I went to Catholic schools, all 12 years of elementary and high school, and I don't think I ever read the Bible beginning to end or anything like that, but they would always select certain verses in religion class to like write about or whatever.
The nice parts.
Yeah, exactly. But
we're on judges where they're going and saying, oh, we're going to go and these people came in and they burnt these people down and they killed 21,000 people and it's
I knew
there's some freaky shit in that Bible.
It sounded like bullshit to me from the very beginning though, like how the people at the beginning of the Bible, they're living like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I mean, we know that the average lifespan of a human, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago was definitely a lot shorter than it is now.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous.
But as I say, so if you want to watch next Sunday starting at 11 Pacific time, Pimpmunk's going to be reading the Bible.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be on Milwaukee Atheist show where they read the Bible. I'm going to do it like a Southern black preacher though.
Did you know that Pimpmunk was once a preacher? Dude?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's hard for me to imagine that.
I was for a little bit. It didn't last like too long, but yeah, I started seeing some bullshit, and I was like, "Oh, my fat ass is going back to the bar."
Yeah, and he got thrown out. He was told that he couldn't preach.
Yeah. The pastor of the church told me to never talk to his congregation like that again. Because basically, I heard this one rich guy, the richest guy in the church, right? Gave the most money. We were at a youth convention thing, and I heard him saying the N-word, talking about, I hate those nerds. He kept saying shit like that. So the next time I preached a sermon, I preached about hate, and I walked out in the middle of the church, stood right beside him. I said, I don't give a care how much money you put in the collection plate. If you have hate in your heart, you're not getting into heaven. And then I turned around and walked back, and
you're fired.
I heard the synchronized gasp in the church. It was like, And then the pastor of the church came and say, "Oh, John, we're never gonna have you preach again." I was a young dude, and I was like, "Yeah, you fuck y'all."
Well, whatever. I mean, you're just telling them like it was.
Yeah.
I never wanted. I mean, like, first of all, you know, like when you're Catholic, you have to become a priest and be celibate and all that garbage. So I was never interested in that. Another thing was I don't know. I didn't like going to church. I thought it was boring as hell. Catholic church is very boring, very bland.
Bible?
Lots of sitting, standing. You sit, stand, kneel, sit.
Yeah, I went to a holiness church, so it was more exciting. You know, we spoke tongues, passed out on the floor, had epileptic fits for Jesus.
Yeah, tell them about your algorithm for speaking in tongues.
Oh, okay. So yeah, everybody spoke in tongues, right? So, but I noticed, especially with my uncle, who was a preacher, they all started out with the same words, the same. Like my uncle would always say, "La Shanda La Baha."
La Shanda La Baha.
Yeah. So this is what I was gonna do. I was gonna say Toyota, but change it up a little bit. I was going to say Toyota and Mitsubishi. I was going to say something like that. But then when I went to do it actually in the church, I actually said Toyota and Mitsubishi. And my friend looked at me and said, "Why are you making fun of us?" I said, "I'm not. Oh, shit."
Yeah, you know, I can't believe a bunch of people get together and do that and act like it's real. Crazy. When it's like a Ouija board. Everybody knows they're moving it. You know what I mean? So I can't believe that they get together and act like they all really believe that they're speaking tongues when they're just yelling gibberish at each other.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. And it's like, I remember one time, you know how they pass out on the floor? I looked down at this woman and she would cop one eye open every now and again to see if anybody was watching her.
I guess that's not any crazier, though, than believing that the bread and wine literally turns into body and blood. Because, I mean, you can give that shit a DNA test and it's not going to come back with any information, you know?
Yeah, and then the one thing I refused to do, I never was a part. My friend wanted to go to one of those snake churches. I was like, hell no.
Yeah,
you should be able to take the sacramental wine that's been turned into blood and do a DNA test to get the Virgin Mary's, because they can do it on the mother's side, right? For stuff. Yeah, you could tell what what diseases Jesus had and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
He had herpes.
Yeah, I mean, if they run a DNA test on the wine, because Catholics believe it's literally turning into that. That's like one of the main beliefs in the Catholic Church, that when the priest prays over the bread and wine, it literally turns into that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Someone should go in there, sneak a little bit when they get the thing, the cup, sneak a little bit out, and do the test. Or does it turn back into just wine once you steal it?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, what's the shelf life on that? I always wondered what it was, how that was with holy water too. Like, does holy water go bad where it's not holy anymore? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, you know, if they tested that wine and results came back saying, you know, oh yeah, this is a Middle Eastern man. This is the blood of a Middle Eastern man. I'd be like, damn, okay. Well, there we go.
And he has hepatitis.
Yeah. Hepatitis.
Okay, so we got the smirking G-man. What's his shtick?
That's how stupid that statement is to me. Okay? If you're an atheist and you do not believe that the God of the Bible does not exist, you need legitimate reasons to believe that God doesn't exist. Having a moral disagreement with God is a horrible way to begin that journey.
Morality that I have is a secular morality. It's a morality that I get from the society that I live in, from the people that are around me, and from what I personally feel is right and wrong. I
just got a quick question for you, Jacqueline Glenn. If your morality is based on your own personal opinion of what you think is right and wrong, how do you determine who's right and who's wrong about anything? How do you determine that God is
objective morality? That's what he's arguing now.
Yeah, it's called logic and common sense, you dumb fuck.
You certainly don't do it by reading that book with the horrible things that it promotes in it.
Yeah, there's literally
if your morality,
rape
if your morality is based upon that book and the stuff that's done that book supposedly says happened, wow,
murder, rape,
You're
incest, genocide, all sorts of stuff.
killing kids because they mouth off at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong for making a.
I mean, like the Israelites, they would wipe out entire they would commit genocide on a whole group of people. Well, except for the women, they'd keep them.
A law in Israel stating that if you're found to be a homosexual, that you're to be stoned to death. How exactly do you come to that conclusion? If it's just based on your own opinion, do you not see how stupid of a statement that is?
It's definitely not something that I got out of a book like that condones murder, is against gay people, condones rape, condones slavery. I mean, if you actually read it.
G-Man's cool with slavery, though. We've talked at length about that.
Yeah.
He's cool with slavery. And if you're starving and you claim to be a Christian, it's because you're not really a Christian.
Yeah, you're not a true Christian.
No Christian starves in the world.
It's a very
Yep.
He's literally said this.
fucked up book.
That's the Puritan thing. Yes, the Puritans, believe that, God favors the righteous, and if you're not wealthy, that's because God, you're not right with God.
I knew a preacher one time. He told a friend of mine. I was there. He said, "I am so in with God. If somebody hit me, God would strike him dead." So my friend punched him in the stomach. hit him as hard as he could in the stomach. Dude went to the ground. He said, "What am I gonna die?" It was so fucking funny.
Jacqueline Glenn, if you actually read the book, you would know that you're just speaking a bunch of manure right now. Obviously, you've never read the Bible a day in your life. You just said that the Bible condones murder, rape, and slavery. Let's talk about the first one, murder. Murder is a sin. If you read the Ten Commandments, it says thou shalt not kill, but it should be translated as thou shalt not murder. Murder is when you kill someone unlawfully or you kill them unrighteously, meaning there's no lawful reason to kill someone. A murder would be if you're walking down the street and you just blow somebody's head off for no apparent reason. That's a murder. If you in fits and rage of anger,
what if you hear a voice inside your head that tells you to kill? Is that okay?
What if the Holy Spirit tells you to do it?
Yeah.
Well, isn't there a part in the Bible? Yeah, where the dude
Abraham
they refused to pay tithes and God strikes them dead. I forget. Yeah, it's there. I know it's there. I forget where it's at. Yeah, because Peter was trying to collect tithings, and they refused to pay it, and God struck them dead.
Yeah, there's so much garbage in there that I'm still discovering.
You find your wife sleeping with another guy, and you shoot her with a gun, and then you shoot a lover, and then you decapitate. That would be considered a murder.
Wow, that was very specific.
That was very specific. Just shoot once you done the decapitation.
That's some OJ shit right there. That's what OJ did. He almost decapitated.
You get excited about that, G-Man? Is that right?
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't think you know what the heck you're talking about.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about some dark fantasies you have or something.
Because in scripture, if you murder someone, you got the death penalty. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about wartime, then certainly you can't be for our military going over to different lands killing people. You certainly can't be with that. You have
what? Yeah, a lot of people are not okay with that. There's very rare cases where that's justified.
I have to disagree with a lot of things, including abortion, Jacqueline Glenn. But since I know that you support both,
no, believing that people should be allowed to have abortions when they need them is not supporting it. She's not like cheering people on to go have abortions.
I'm handing people clothes hangers that poke that shit.
The sad thing is that if abortion was made illegal again, that would be the best option for a lot of people.
That is another good screenshot.
Yep. Damn.
Dude, we need to see some steaming crap behind it. Look what I just did.
I want to see a collaboration of Pimpmunk sleeping and weird
Yeah.
face G-Man.
Have G-Man sitting on my cock and doing that face right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got jungle fever.
Well, and we have a decapitated head with us.
Secondly, you said that the Bible condones rape. No, you got the death penalty for rape. Okay, and that's all. I'm sorry. There's one more thing I want to say about that.
But there is rape in the Bible that
All up in
happens.
it.
Too. There are atheists out there who are extremely ignorant, very uneducated, that will sit there and argue, well, God.
Are you trying to say you're educated? Seriously?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Makes you marry your rapist. No, that's not what's going on. There was a system of restitution in the Bible. Okay? And a woman back then versus a woman today. Back then, a woman depended on finding a husband in order to survive. If a woman was found to be somebody who slept around or whatever, that woman would not be desirable for someone to marry. If that woman was violated or something like that, then she would not be desirable to marry by anybody, especially if she became pregnant by the rapist. The Bible, and I love what the Bible says about this, and I'm going to publicly say this, I absolutely love it, that it may hold you responsible for your actions. If you rape that woman, and if the father approves and if the woman approves, then guess what?
Oh, God.
It doesn't say that, though, does it?
No, it's what it is if he this motherfucker this pisses me off. It's in the Bible where if he raped him and he could either pay, I think it's like pay the father off or marry the daughter, and that was the punishment, marry the daughter.
Yes,
And
marry
he's
her
sitting there
and
saying
care for her the
he's
rest of her
okay
days.
with this.
And I know you didn't know that. Just like Matt Dillahunty doesn't know that. Just like the rest of you really popular atheists don't know this, or at least you pretend like you don't know this, just so that you can live in your world of imagination. But we'll save that one for a little bit later.
It says it in the Bible. It's not imagination. It's right there for you to fucking read, you dumb son of a bitch.
You can
It's been a long
live in
time
this
since I read
delusion
it, so
and have
I
these
don't know it
Sam
word for
Albury,
word.
this very person.
Oh, shit, I accidentally skipped the video. Oh, whatever. I'm done with it anyway. I'm done with G-Man.
G-Man's retarded.
Here's
He's gonna give me autism.
Yeah, so just to say, if G-Man is kind of unfamiliar because he might not have actually read the Bible, take a look at Judges chapter 21 verses 10 through 24. Take a look at Numbers chapter 31 verses 17 and 18. Take a look at Deuteronomy chapter 20 verses 10 through 14. Take a look at the rape law, right? About a man caught raping the thing that he must pay 50 pieces of silver, but she, the rape victim, because he has to basically, that's Deuteronomy chapter 22 verses 28 and 29. The death of the rape victim is talking about when they kill it, Deuteronomy chapter 22 verses 23 and 24, and it can go on and on, right? There's a lot of sick, twisted stuff in there.
So take it up the butt, G-Man. What's this do?
Yeah, I accidentally skipped to this video. It's Robert Oscar Lopez says LGBT church audits will undo. Oh man, it's a really long title. I have to stretch this out to read it. Will undo the American Revolution. Huh? All right, let's see.
Sam Albury, this very person, is coming to the United States and bringing with him this audit that he created, which provides 10 benchmarks to measure whether a church is compliant with being inclusive of gay people. I know many Anglicans who do not like this and who are fighting this tooth and nail. Would this not seem like the Church of England and Parliament is imposing homosexuality on American churches, something that even our own government in Washington has not dared to do? That document now is being implemented in 2 Southern Baptist churches in the United States and Cambridge, Massachusetts. So the leadership of those churches is willingly taking on itself a document that was generated by the Anglican Church, which does not have separation from the government of England. We fought an entire Revolutionary War so that this would not happen. The people who gave their blood, sweat, and tears in the Revolutionary War did that so that Parliament and the Crown of England could not dictate to us our faith. This goes back to the Bible. in the first book of
The
Kings,
Bible?
and the second book of Kings.
What?
There are clear descriptions of what happened when the monarchy and the temple got entangled with homosexuality. Is that or is that not correct, Tom? There are multiple references to a cult of male prostitutes, basically homosexuality flourishing in the temples of ancient Israel and Judah. That brought down various monarchs in Israel and in Judah. Josiah and Hezekiah had to clean house, and it still didn't work. Israel was still condemned.
Ancient Israel was overrun with gay male prostitutes in the temples.
Yeah, no. It was inside the temples looked really good.
All right, by God.
Very
And so
decorated.
The
very
fashion
well.
was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the root of the faith that our forebears carried over when they fled the Church of England. It was clear that they were never again going to allow a monarchy and a government to force that kind of perversion on.
How much you want to bet he's had a dick in the
What they
butt?
did is they brought over puritanical religion, some of the worst, and we're still suffering today from the Puritans that came over there. This notion of, but that's what pisses me off about the whole pilgrim Thanksgiving pieces of crap, right? The Puritans were a really awful group of people that came over there. They weren't coming for freedom. They were coming to establish suppression of people that weren't like them in this world, right?
Yeah.
Right. And, the monarchs of England didn't even want control of the church until Henry VIII wanted a divorce. So he was like, fine, I'll just make my own church then. I mean, so it wasn't like they created the Anglican Church specifically to like force their religion on everybody.
Yeah. This dude's gay, I imagine.
Worship. And here what we
You
have
think a lot of people are gay?
I do.
Yeah.
right now is the Crown of England and Parliament has dictated.
Usually, though, when everybody's all hardcore against the homosexual, I mean, like when they're extreme, like they're perverts and stuff, they usually end up being gay.
They're the ones that are outspoken.
Male prostitutes back into our temples, and they're using these go-betweens between the Anglican Church and the Southern Baptist Convention to undo the American Revolution. I cannot emphasize this enough.
So
undo.
Yep. The gays want to undo the revolution.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the Puritans certainly supported King George in the case where he was supporting the wealthy, right? Because one of the things that the Puritans really believed is that if you were wealthy, that was a sign that God found favor with you. If you were poor, it was because you weren't righteous. So those poor people out there, your God isn't smiling on you. It's if you're wealthy, God's smiling on you. That means you're. And so there was that even though the Puritans had been kicked out of Great Britain, they supported the wealthy magistrates that came over there because they said those people are righteous. They also contributed to the Puritans' churches too, but that's a minor.
Wouldn't like the ministers or priests or whatever, by that logic, shouldn't they be the richest people in town?
Well, I mean, they get to enjoy all of God's riches, right? All the tithes and all the stuff.
True.
In the church. I mean,
I've been to the Vatican twice, and that's some serious riches.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
The Vatican.
Yeah.
Alex, if you know everything that you say you know, and you got their plans, why are you still alive?
Well, they're murdering my name. There's
his name is dead.
Hillary Clinton's, her clan goes and, all these people that get close to her.
They're in the process of murdering my name.
The most powerful Democrat in the marketplace. Let's just say.
Because they thought I was a joke, like a poison. I titrated it. And it's the way God worked. It wasn't me.
Come on.
Like God told me to do this shit.
Now he's divinely inspired to peddle.
It's divinely inspired herbal pills that.
Yeah.
Your
You gotta-
brain.
well, you gotta have
Real
herbal
male
pills, Dave.
vitality was handed to me from the Almighty. Yeah.
Jesus wants your dick hard.
It's a joke. They use this against Trump. They kept thinking they were winning, and now when the poison, the truth, is so strong, when the big dose hits them, they already have figured it out. And so I'm just over there. I'm the globalist lethal injection, and I'm ready to die. So let's just be clear. I've already won. This is all gravy from this point on. So I'm already in the system. I've already won, and they thought it was
What
a
are you
joke,
doing?
and now they just took their death dose. Really, I'm going to kill the New World Order.
What is that?
He said he's going to kill the New World Order.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to say I'm going to kill my lawyer. I was like,
That's why they call me violent. That's why they hate me. I'm not physically hurting anybody, but the information is the end.
It has never been proven that there is such a New World Order.
No.
But people are so convinced of it that he has a huge following.
Yep, I do.
And he sells his herbal supplements and his brain stuff too.
Yep.
My brain power and my brain power and my dick pills. You got to have them.
It makes him lose weight too, but not really. He posted these.
I got punch you got.
He posted these before and after photos, and the only thing that's different is the lighting. But he was trying to claim he took these pills and he just like lost a bunch of weight and looked all healthy and muscular, but he looked exactly the same.
It's their end of days.
You think so?
No one can reverse it now. Yeah, no, it's true. Because
Now, back
humanity
in the
wants to
day,
live.
Alex Jones was in
And
shape real good.
They're the ones doing this. I studied their papers. I studied their program. And you ask why they're so afraid? They're so afraid because I've got their number. And I'm not afraid to die.
And it's 8675. It's 8675309.
So if that's where you're at, who cares if you ever get back on social media?
I don't.
You really don't.
The message, the transmission, everything else
Oh,
sounds great.
bullshit.
He cares.
Yes, he cares.
Absolutely. That's why he's doing this interview.
Yeah, he spent so many years building a following on all those different social media platforms. I mean, I would care too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Everything else is just getting ready to meet God.
Whatever.
And be a real man, I got to take my licks. I'm ready. Everything else now is take my licks.
Is that why
And that means my kids got to take the licks. My family's got to take the licks. And I got to take the licks. And I'm ready to take the licks. So let's get it going here.
He said that so many times.
Coming with God.
How many licks does it take to get the center of Alex Jones? Huh?
Let's find out.
I'm taking my licks.
1, 2,
Goddamn.
3.
How many licks?
Emotionally right now.
I love
How
it.
many times did he say licks in that one fucking sentence?
He said licks like 20 times.
I'm very close to God.
Very close to God.
Very close. You know. In fact, I always feel my heart and stomach, now it's in my bones. Like every moment is like close to God. I can't explain it. I'm so close to God right now.
It sounds like that's a metaphor for something. The way he's saying
Are you
it.
about to cry?
I
Oh,
hope
he's gonna
he's not
cry.
planning on doing something drastic to accelerate his getting close to so-called God.
You gonna take some licks? He's gonna cry again. Alex cries all the fucking time.
He is about to cry. Look at him.
I just feel good.
Peace? Are you relaxed?
I am at
Are you
peace. I am
sleeping good?
I'm now at peace. I'm now at peace. It's not my name or who I am.
You know, Joe Rogan says he drinks all the time.
Who, Alex?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Me knows I love God. I love Jesus. And so I've already passed on. And that's why the enemy hates me, because I'm well beyond their grasp now. Far beyond their grasp.
Whatever. If there really was an Illuminati, they could put a hit out on you so easily. I mean, if they have the amount of power and influence that you claim, they could kill you if they wanted to. But they don't exist, so that's why.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so how many years do you think before people will say, Alex who?
I don't know. His popularity has steadily climbed throughout.
He's very popular.
Yeah. I don't know.
Alex Jones gonna live forever.
Is he going to run for office, political office? Is he going to try to go into the political arena? Is he going to try to show up at political
probably
conventions?
will.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will, because if he does, then every skeleton in his closet will be revealed.
Well, true.
I mean, he's got his ex-wife out there ready to talk about anything.
And
so
she's ready to jump on everybody's podcast.
Yeah.
She's been on everybody lately.
She's been in a creationist cat video. You know?
She was on.
She was.
Steve. She was on
Yes,
Steve.
he was.
She was on with Steve McRae I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like Trump. It's just like Trump. Nobody talked about how Trump paid porn stars and Playboy models to bang him. No one cared enough, and then as soon as he became president, it came out.
Everybody cared.
Yeah.
Well, it is an important position.
Every audio recording of him where he says something that he didn't want people to hear, that he thought got deleted somewhere, that'll come out too. Just like the grab her by the pussy shit came out for Trump. So he's way. I wouldn't want to be president anyway. It's too stressful of a job. It's a lot. In many ways, your freedom and your life gets taken away from you. To do a lot of things, you have to be under protection constantly. Your location has to be accounted for constantly. It doesn't sound good to me if someone like Alex Jones sitting back making money at being a crazy person on the internet. That sounds like a better deal than being president. Or
that's something that some of my political pundits have been saying. How Trump is going to leave office is if they're and say, I can make more money being Trump and doing my Trump Industries, given my name brand, than I can as president. So, screw you guys. I'm going home, as Carmen says.
I could kind of see that happening, but I think his ego wouldn't allow him to quit. They would have to force him to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that I agree with that. That's my counter argument, is that I think Trump's ego would not let him. He would not want to be, the sideline of stuff. And as an ex-president, when his off-term of office finally ends, he's going to be a really insufferable ex-president. He's not going to be like this nice Jimmy Carter out there.
Oh yeah.
That's a lifetime title, and it carries this distinction throughout your entire life. And they'll give you a presidential library. They're naming airports after you and schools, and that just blows my mind.
So which airport would you name Trump Airport?
I don't know.
Bucksnort, Tennessee Airways.
Maybe Lodi.
A landing strip somewhere. A helicopter pad on top of a hospital.
Someplace in someplace in North Korea.
Yeah.
The President Trump helicopter landing pad. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I just pray that God will have mercy on my children. But I trust God. So it's God's will now.
So you don't think there's anything here for you to figure out a way to bring it back and have this be a second coming of Alex's mind getting to work and doing all that stuff? You think it's it for you right now?
Oh, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I'm just telling you that I knew when Trump was elected election night that I told everybody, I said, it's going to get really bad. They're coming after us. Like, we've won. He'll be the president. We're all set. And I said, no. No, we're not set. Get ready. And I said, I've completed my work. And everything else now is up to everybody else.
My work here's done. I'm killing the New World Order. Here's another anti-vaxxer video.
Cold and flu season is now back upon us, and unfortunately, all of the zombies and sheeps are going to run out and get their fresh flu shot inoculation, thus spreading the cold and flu like a wildfire through live virus shedding. All right, so it's very important that you protect yourself. Here's a natural recipe, a natural flu shot recipe that can protect you and your family. All right, there's a couple tips you need to know though. All right, when you're juicing your citrus, first thing first. We always leave some skin on, all right? The skin is where most of the power of your citrus lies, all right? In the essential oils right here. This flesh right here is mainly fiber and water, all right? So all the power, again, right here in this essential oils of the skin. You got to leave some skin on. Now, your core of your pineapple, bromelain, this is where the power of the pineapple lies. In the bromelain, all right, this is proven to be 10 times more effective than cough syrup. This is a building protein, all right?
10 times more.
You also leave
not
a strip or
9
two of the pineapple juice,
10.
all right?
And where was this
lemon,
proven at?
lime, ginger turmeric, grapefruit orange, and our secret weapon cayenne completes the flu shot recipe. Love you.
Cayenne.
This is one we have.
So why doesn't he leave all the skin on if that's really where all the power is? Why does he only leave part of the skin?
Too much power.
Yeah, you don't want your citrus levels too high.
Especially it's cold and flu season, all right? You have to check my natural flu shot recipe out. Learn how to make your own orange juice and make it powerful and keep the cold and flu away, all right? But I want to ask you, would you ever take orange juice, squeeze it yourself, right? By hand, by press, by whatever the means are, and then would you go and throw that OJ on the stove and cook it, huh? Would you ever do that? Would that appeal to your common sense? Of course the hell not. But that's what all of these OJs are, all right? Let me show you.
Very good when you put it in a soup. It makes it really good when you're cooking soup or putting a little bit of orange juice in your soup and cooking it. Actually, that's actually quite a good recipe. I highly recommend it. So lemons as well.
That means they heated it and they cooked it to quote unquote make it safe for you. What they really did is they killed all the nutrition out of it. All right, look at this shit.
Oh.
Vitamin C and zinc added to your orange juice. I thought orange juice was the vitamin C. What is all of this shit in my orange juice? All right. They low acid. They're getting carried away with all this shit, man. All you need is orange juice, citrus, lemon, lime, turmeric, ginger. All right, these should be the only ingredients in your orange juice. I love y'all.
I love you too, man. Was that Snoop?
I don't think so.
Here in the Blue Cross Blue Shield handbook that came out, it actually talked about something called the Combo 10. That in a pediatrician's office, if they have all the children under the age of 2 that have been fully vaccinated with all 10 of these vaccines called the Combo 10 by their 2nd birthday, the vaccination rate in the pediatrician's office needs to be 63% of their entire practice needs to be fully vaccinated by this Combo 10. And if they are rewarded by Blue Cross Blue Shield at $400 per child.
You know why? Because that means that Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't have to pay a lot of bucks to hospitalize those kids when they get diseases that we've cured.
Yeah, I can't believe these people aren't looking at how there are regions with a lot of anti-vaxxers and now people there are getting the measles again. I mean, isn't that enough proof that they should be vaccinating their kids?
Oh, but that's the GMO food seed.
Okay.
GMO food is messing with them. That's why they're...
That's it.
Yeah, a lot of people are really into that GMO shit.
Per eligible member. So if you've got 1,000 kids in your practice and 63% of them are fully vaccinated, you get 1,000 times 400 in terms of a bonus from Blue Cross Blue Shield for following through on their standard.
Okay. So they're just saying like, oh, because they have an incentive to do it, they don't actually believe that it helps. It's just they're just doing it because, they're making money.
Ignorant.
You know how much cost it is to have a kid that's got whooping cough or rubella or other curable, preventable diseases actually being treated in the hospital. And so what they're saying is, hey, doctors, we get people to vaccinate so we don't have to have these diseases that are treated. It's going to save us money and we'll share the profits with you.
Exactly. And that makes perfect sense.
You do.
All right. What is this? Oh, it's another flat Earth.
Yeah. So sunrise in the clouds. Yeah, the sunrise is low on the horizon. Yeah. Flat Earth proof? No. You're just seeing this. You're seeing the clouds at a higher angle than the horizon. Leave intelligent comments below. Well, stop believing in flat Earth.
Yeah, that's
you idiot.
Yeah.
Well, you see it right there. That's flat Earth right there.
I want to believe that that's a troll, but it's probably not, because we saw earlier there was a whole convention full of people for this.
Yeah.
So
And there are people that make a lot of money trolling flat Earth stuff.
That's true. I like to think most of them are just bored.
I think
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell sometimes whether they're trolling or they're just, whether they really believe it.
I'm going to play one more video before we wrap up the show. I want to remind everyone 9/11 mode is still on. Rather than doing the timer segment at the end, just send in. If you want to send in Streamlabs, go ahead and do it while we're watching this video, and then I'll read them all at the end, all the ones that I haven't read yet.
Cool.
But it looks like Australia is actually going to fine anti-vaxxer parents.
Good.
Yeah. This guy's mad
Good
about
morning,
it.
guys. This is Zero Hedge. Let's do a little roundup here.
See, he's got a Trump thing in the background, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Yep.
The founder of Movement walk away for disillusioned Democrats refused service at a New York electronics store. And he said, "Are you planning to use this equipment for alt-right purposes?" And so he was refused service. He left. And, and that store will pay a price, without a doubt. Moving on, and by the way, his name, because Brenda sent it to me, Brandon Straka is his name. The first 4 boys rescued from the Thai cave. As they say, Mission Impossible. It says the first 4 boys of the trapped youth soccer team have been rescued from a flooded Thai cave.
He's reading like a whole bunch of news. I want to hear
per
the
year defense, intel, and foreign aid apparatus. I tell you what, there is so much at stake that people don't even realize. If the far, let's see here, top Chinese CEO quotes Michelle Obama in angry Trump investigation. That's because energy is the key to everything. Yes, it is. Natural resources, everything. Knowing how to generate and utilize them, which is on its board of directors that twice a month if they don't vaccinate their irate Long Island man arrested for making terrorist threats against Trump supporters. Australia will now fine parents twice a month if they don't vaccinate their kids. Wow, that's scary.
It's scary to have a bunch of kids that aren't vaccinated around.
It's scary that they have to come to that point where they have to find people to do that. I mean, shit.
North Korea slamming extremely troubling U.S. attitude. Bullshit. They're just going. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. We'll just stand back and let it have at it. Mike Pompeo has nothing but good things to say, so take it with a grain of salt. And why the coming oil crunch will shock the world. We don't have any oil. Whatever oil crunch there is, it'll be made up. San Francisco home prices soared by a record 200,000 in 6 months. And 2 U.S. destroyers sail into Taiwan Strait for the first time since 2007.
Well, he just knows how to read the news, don't he, with excitement.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
The charisma on this motherfucker is just hard to handle.
I just got a new Photoshop of you, Pimp. It's kind of adorable, honestly.
I am adorable.
Check this out.
Oh,
that's fucking fantastic. That is fucking fantastic. I like that one.
Well done, whoever did that.
And that video was terrible. So I am going to put up the timer for like 10 minutes, and then we'll leave. Let's see.
I gotta pee again. I took these damn fluid pills because I'm unhealthy right now.
Why don't you just pee in the cup like you normally do?
Because I don't want. The only cup I have near me is my cup I drink out of.
And no,
I don't want piss in that
go pee.
thing,
Go
man.
pee. It's okay. Go pee.
Goddamn. I'm a professional. I'll hold it. No, I won't.
Okay. Milwaukee Atheist sent in $2 through Super Chat and said #blame the Bible. And I saw the non sequitur show in the chat.
Yeah. Non sequitur is good, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, they told me they were some of the people that G-Man doxed. So yeah, if you guys make any Pimpmunk memes, you should send them to me on Twitter, or you can join the Discord. I have my own Discord. You can go there. You can go to the DP Discord. You can leave it there too. Whatever you'd like. Pretty soon I'm going to be making big changes to my Patreon. For anyone who's interested, you can check out the link down below. Next month might be the last month of my Patreon the way it is now, and then we're thinking about changing up a lot of the perks and everything to make it different.
Support the content creators that you enjoy. They have to make a living. They entertain you. Please reciprocate by giving them.
That was said way better than the way I said it.
By the way, before we end, I want to say I put Adam E. I see you're still in the chat room. I trolled you this whole fucking show, and you didn't even know it.
Are you sure that are you sure that when you were going pee, you weren't actually going and doing what you said you weren't going to do? Look, I cracked the code. I've never seen him go more than 10 minutes without a cigarette.
Pimpmunk has been cigarette free.
Yeah.
Before the show started, Adam E said, "Let's count every time Pimpmunk smokes a cigarette." I didn't smoke one just to fuck with you, but I'm about to right now. So here's number 1.
Wow. Except for that one that he was smoking when he went to the bathroom earlier.
No, that was my crack.
Allegedly.
Allegedly crack.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So that's you have to do in order to not get demonetized. You have to say allegedly often, and that cures everything.
You know something I've noticed in the news lately?
What?
You know how they used to say that all the time. Like when somebody do a crime, it was alleged. But now notice this, the only time they say it now is when like it's a black man or a woman. But if it's a white man being accused of racism, they never say allegedly anymore.
Yeah, true. I mean, they come right out and say like anything's racist. Like they don't even question it. They'll just call it racist right away.
By the way, this goddamn cigarette is fucking delicious. 2 hours without a cigarette, God, I'm about to go fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. You were sneaking away to have one.
No, I am peeing because
we asked you the last time. We asked you what was the longest you've gone without smoking a cigarette. Didn't you say like 2 days or something?
Yeah, man. I went 2 days without smoking a cigarette.
That's a lot.
I probably beat up 230 people during that time too.
There's all kinds of people that have tried to quit smoking, and a lot of them will be like, "Oh yeah, I quit for 6 months." I thought you were gonna say 3 months, 6 months, a year. You're like 2 days.
2 fucking days. I was shaking in the goddamn corner with sweat beads saying, "I need to suck your dick for a cigarette."
Hey, there's Milwaukee Atheist saying Gideon killed a whole city once because they didn't give his army food. Murder is cool with God. G-Man is wrong.
He is wrong. Absolutely.
Pimp does have a vape, and they suck.
Some people say vapes are worse. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either, but
well,
but if you want to see Pimpmunk read the Bible on their show,
Yeah.
Tune in Milwaukee Atheists Sunday at 11 Pacific.
Yeah, he was on tap a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Also, after this show, I will be streaming on my channel, and come tip me and give me money.
Yeah, tip him and be sure to also there's a fund where Mama Pimp is going to be interviewed. That's going to be a rare thing.
Yeah, I will be interviewing Mom's going to be interviewed. Probably not. She's going to be off camera. I don't think she wants to be on camera. But
what are you gonna let them pick the questions?
Well, the three highest tippers. Well, of course, I'm going to vet the questions, of course. But yeah,
Danny McGuire loves you, Pimp.
I love Danny McGuire, and I want his cock.
What's the youngest picture of yourself that you've made public? I think it's time for some.
There's a baby picture out there.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's time for a baby pimp picture.
I'll get some pictures and send to you. I got some when I was in high school with long ass hair.
Yeah. It is the right of parents to put up embarrassing pictures of their kids.
There's some pictures of me about 5 years ago that you would be. I actually be shocked because 5 years ago is when I lost all that weight, and I looked pretty damn good back then because I was exercising a lot, and then I got sick. It was no excuse to gain weight. I'm not excusing it. It's I got sick.
Yeah, I mean, getting sick makes it harder to keep weight off, especially if you have trouble losing it in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also when you get sick, comfort eating helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, it was just, but I'm trying to do it again, and the reason I'm doing it because my legs are so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's really not even. I mean, am I doing it just to lose weight? Not really. I'm doing it just to get healthy.
Yeah,
folks. Vodka's tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we
tip me.
You have been entertained by these people.
Give me
your appreciation.
All right. How much? Okay, if you give me $20, I'll finish the rest of this all in one chug.
Chug it, motherfucker.
That's entertainment.
That's entertainment.
Entertainment is how retarded I get afterwards.
Ben gets on the I love you man drunks.
Yeah.
$20. $20 for a chug.
Yeah. Last night I was streaming and I got a lot. And so I got
I'll drink a shot of vodka. Actually a grappa, right? If
now this dude knows his whiskeys and scotch, man. Yeah, well, we were in Myrtle Beach. He bought like a $250 bottle of scotch.
Wow.
Well, we had to have a good. Life is too short to drink crappy.
Yeah.
So is it aged?
And he gave it to me. I took it home.
Is it aged or something?
That one was pretty good. It was yes. It was a really good Lagavulin.
It was okay for scotch. I don't like scotch that much, but I'm more of a bourbon guy.
But they drank his.
Yeah, Landon bought because my favorite whiskey is Maker's Mark. That's my favorite. And Landon bought me a bottle of Maker's Mark. He bought a shit ton of alcohol. This was when we was at Myrtle Beach for the pimp gathering. He bought a shit ton of alcohol. He told everybody to leave my whiskey alone. Them some bitches drank it, Ben.
They drank his whiskey.
They drank my goddamn whiskey.
Those jerks. That's funny.
Yeah.
People are telling me I should have asked for more than 20, but it's like a discount. It's a discount.
Yeah.
A drunken
$20.
Yeah.
$20. He'll drink that thing, and I will take a shot of grappa.
Yeah. By the way, man, I'm doing another pimp gathering in January in Nashville. You should come to that, man.
In January in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a week. We're all renting a house like we did at Myrtle Beach last year. And I'm going to be doing some street comedy. I'm going to get out there and with a megaphone and do some fucking street comedy. And
we're going to do a bus thing as well?
Yeah, we're doing a bus tour.
Wow.
It's a karaoke bus tour. It's like a party bus. You can drink, do karaoke. And we're also going to do a riverboat tour. So, yeah.
I've only ever driven through Tennessee. I've never actually spent time there.
Well, Nashville's a party town. It really is a party town. Yeah. Now, I prefer Memphis because it's a blues town. And I like blues, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I like blues too. I like like electric blues.
Go to Bill Street in Memphis. It'll be the time of your life. But yeah, we're doing Nashville in January. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but even if it doesn't, I'm happy because $89.37. That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Thanks kindly for your support.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for joining us, Landon.
That's man.
It's been a pleasure. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely, you're welcome back anytime. And for everyone else, good night, and thanks for watching.
Check out my stream next.
Check out his stream next, and send him
money.
Yeah.
You're on the clock, Ben.